your dog begs for food when you're eating at the dinner table or just snacking on the couch, it can be annoying, but it could also be super uncomfortable because then you start feeling guilty and you have to give them a bite of your snack. Then your dog is eating unhealthy food and gaining weight, and it's just all over not a good idea and just not healthy. But since so many dogs beg for food, you might think that this is normal dog behavior, but in fact it's something you could train away and avoid entirely if you got a new puppy or a new dog. So let's get right into how to stop your dog from begging and how to avoid it. Yogi's Tales. The first step to take, whether you have a new puppy / dog or a dog that already begs for food, is to never ever give your dog table scraps while you're eating or even right after you eat from the table. When you're cooking in the kitchen, it's usually okay for you to occasionally give them, like a small piece of a carrot or a little pinch of shredded cheese, but when you yourself are eating, never give your dog any food in that setting. You cannot let them associate your mealtime with them getting a little something. It's okay to feed your own dog their dog food simultaneously from their bowl, but it's just not a good idea to take a piece of food from your plate and hand it to your dog by hand. If your dog doesn't already beg for food, great, never give them table scraps, don't start doing that. If your dog does already beg for food, then just stop doing that right now, and that's the first step towards getting your dog to stop begging. The second step is to teach a place command to your dog that you use during your meals. A place command could mean that when you say place or whatever word you choose, your dog goes to their doggy bed, or it could mean that they go into their crate, whatever you prefer. All that matters is that when you say this command, your dog goes to a designated spot and stays there until he's released. By teaching this to your dog and using it for every mealtime, it'll become routine for your dog to automatically go to their place when it's mealtime, and then he obviously can't be sitting next to you begging for food. In addition to teaching him this command, you could also prepare an enrichment toy to keep them occupied in their place during your mealtimes. My favorite is to use a frozen Kong, so I stuff a Kong with peanut butter or like watered down kibble, fruits, whatever, and then freeze it. This way, whenever your dog is in their bed or crate while you eat, they can also get this nice little enrichment treat to keep them occupied, but also create like a positive association so that they don't think it's like a negative thing to go to their place. It's more like a place to chill and enjoy a frozen Kong. Also, this will keep them occupied for several minutes so that you can even finish your meal while they're enjoying that frozen enrichment toy or whatever you choose. Soon enough, instead of drooling next to you begging for table scraps, they'll actually prefer to go to their place and enjoy that nice reward. Another step to take when teaching your dog to not beg is to ignore them when they do beg and reward them when they're doing well. So if your dog is begging, simply ignore them. Don't tell them no, don't physically push them away. You don't even have to touch them. Just simply ignore them and pretend they're not even there. Don't make eye contact, don't say anything. On the other hand, when they're doing something good, like when they're staying in their place and they don't move, periodically walk over to their place wherever they're staying and give them a few treats and give them a little bit of praise. This is classic positive reinforcement, and it goes a long way in stopping a dog from begging and replacing that behavior, because they find out which behavior gets rewards and which behavior gets them what they don't want, which is like a lack of attention and ignoring. Finally, while you're training this, since it won't be overnight that your dog can learn to perform place and stay there for 30 minutes at a time, start with low achievable goals. For example, the first meal you try to use the place command, send your dog into their place for a few minutes with their enrichment toy, like a frozen Kong. Once your dog finishes that enrichment toy, even if you aren't done with your meal, free them from that place, give them that release word so they can leave that place. Your dog will probably, for the first few times, immediately go back to begging, but just ignore him like I said earlier. Each day, extend that place for a few seconds at a time so that your dog holds his place for a little bit longer each time, even after finishing that enrichment toy, and soon your dog will be able to hold his place for the entire meal. To learn how to teach this place command, that's really the foundation of stopping your dog from begging, check out this tutorial I made on how to teach place linked here on the screen.